Blessed love, my family. Let's see what's going on here. How you doing, family? Thank y'all for joining us. We had a little technical delay, but we got it straightened out. Waiting to be joined by our beloved sister, special guest. In the meantime, I'm just going to walk around the garden a little bit and show y'all a little bit of the vibes. Definitely what I would be doing today with my mother, who is now with the ancestor. She's transitioned since 2017. So I'm just taking a little walk around for a while and show y'all what I see. I think our sister's here too,
That's
so
shame.
we can get outside of the. What y'all hear in the background is the Washington River, otherwise known as Washington Road. We're just gonna call it Washington River today. I want to show y'all something real quick. Washington River in the background. So on any given Mother's Day or just any day, I'd be doing this with my mama, you know. So we're gonna
Mm,
start it off like this,
that's shame.
walking around and enjoying the plants, the
Mm-hmm.
fruit of nature. So I'm gonna come over here where there's a little bit less river noise, so I can hear some of the birds still talking to us and everything. Okay, let's see, boom, boom. So we got our sister with us, and we're
Yeah.
grateful for her on this.
Uh-oh. It's frozen.
Giving y'all the opportunity while we're doing all of that to let the family know we're alive and we have a special celebration today. So it's always a good day to celebrate life. It's always appropriate.
Shame.
Today we got one of my favorite people in the whole world with us,
That's shame.
and I know it's a bunch of people can say the same thing about it. It's just
Thanks.
how she rolls. So just um, do us a favor and spread the word. Let them know. You know, of course, this is gonna live on the internet, and we're recording this for WRFG Radio ahead of the wow. What is the year? I forgot counting the years of the annual. We just say the annual Malcolm X Fest,
I think I saw 33rd. Was it 33rd?
33rd, something like that.
33rd.
It makes sense. That's
Mm,
that Christ number.
yes.
That's the calling for the people that Malcolm X came and served so powerfully and so honorably.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Awaken the Christ within. So I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna get one thing real quick and just ask y'all to like and share the video, and we can really get started with our sister
Yeah.
Sonny Patterson.
Mm.
So I'm gonna say this is gonna be easy. Not to say it's ever difficult. There are difficult conversations in life. That's part of life.
Right.
But but this is my cup of tea right here. Talking about Mama, digging deeper to get a deeper understanding of who she is.
Hmm.
Uh, Sitting on the ground in the garden. Life can't get no sweeter than this. This is
The good
lovely.
life. That's the good. The
It's the
good
good
life.
life. So, I want to officially introduce to those of y'all who don't know her, our good sister. I like to say she's the poet laureate of our people in this generation. That's just Ras
That's right.
Kofi talking. We're not take back no talk. I think so many of our poet laureates who have gone before us would concur with that.
Mhm.
I think of people like Amiri Baraka and Nikki Giovanni and Linton Kwesi Johnson, who is still with us. Even Muta Baruka, who is still with us in the flesh, and all of that. They're all with us.
Yes.
You know, our brother Wise Intelligent call her Jesus.
That's my
I
brother.
never forget the first time, 'cause she be baptizing people. You know, John the Baptist. John the Baptist. They say John the Baptist said, I baptize you with water, but coming after me is one who will baptize you with the fire.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
that's
Yes.
our sister,
That's sure.
Sonny Patterson. She's a mama, uh, wife, uh, priestess, just an all-around black magic woman. That's when all that all it's another, I guess, what would we call it, a trend going around, and it's a healthy trend. It's good to be tapping into the black magic instead of some of the other stuff we've been tapping into. But when
For
I
sure.
hear that word, I think of people like her, and
Mm.
we're gonna get a little idea of maybe why that is. Why it's not just Ras Kofi alone to feel that way. So I want to welcome you to our program, sister. First of all, happy
Thanks.
Mama's Day.
Give thanks. Good time.
Happy,
Good time. A
happy
good
Mama's
Sunday.
Day. Yes.
Yes.
And I want to, for full disclosure, we got a delay. I feel like
It is.
slowly. We're gonna roll with it. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Are you? No. You're there.
Can
You're not frozen.
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go.
You see me?
I see you too. See you.
All right,
Hear
great,
you. All that good stuff.
excellent. How you feeling, Mama?
I'm giving thanks. I'm blessed by the best. You already know. I'm by the complaints I have. A nap. A nap could cure it. Some other kind of time management could get to it.
True, true.
But overall, no. It's a big blessing. A big
I
blessing
see.
to be here. A big blessing to be alive.
I see. I
Yes,
want to
indeed.
start right there, because when you said that, I think of my mother and so many other mothers. And prayerfully during
Mm,
this conversation, we can dig deeper, like I said, and remember aspects of Mama because of the war, the protracted war we've been in for the past few centuries.
mm-hmm.
You know, and also for because of the grace of the Almighty, we've seen prevalently, we've seen maybe one or two aspects of Mama. But I thought of this
Yes.
proverb that say, when a woman is hungry, she say roast some breadfruit so that the children may eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I know you could probably do with some more rest, but your brother Ras Kofi called on you, and here you are, and that's how you be showing up in the world. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
indeed.
And so I want to talk about that for a minute. In terms of that that mother principle that
Mm-hmm.
that has shown up in that way for our people.
Always
Where would we start that conversation?
at the beginning. We start at the beginning with that kind of thing, right? Whether the beginning is and this is what we learn, I think, about this aspect of mothering, is that there's so many beginnings when it comes down to the mother, when it comes down to the one who nurtures, when it comes down to uh, the holder of the calabash, when it comes down to
Mm.
the essence of the divine secret and the divine sacred, when it comes down to this essence of giving birth to gods in this way. So there's so many beginnings that you can choose one. You can pick one, right? Because every essence is an iteration of a new time. My mama said one time, she said, "Sonny, you always think you got to do your best." I was like, "Right? What what does that mean?"
Right.
She said, "She said what I'm saying is that every moment requires a different best.
Mm.
So your best in this moment might not be the best in this next moment.
Mm.
So that's also practicing this principle of discernment. And I think every mother, not just every, and when we're talking about every mother and knowing that we all came from, what Pac say, we all came from a woman and so forth and so on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so looking at it from that space, if we came from this, if we came from this essence, then we have to also, at the same time, contain this essence as well. And I don't want to say contain as in limit, but contain as into sacredly hold. And what does that mean to to even in this possessive sense, to have a piece of, right, in this way. So it really is about how we all come to this space of nurturing. How do we nurture ourselves? How do we nurture the essence within? How do we nurture the, and here come this one with the drawers on in the, can you move? So back again to uh well, this is how it goes. But, but
Can't, we truly can't make this up, right?
so
It's real.
it's a
What's
thing of
happening, champion?
it's a thing of this. Let's see, Uncle Kofi. Okay, can you give me a second?
What's up,
Look, come,
Kansu?
everybody want to see all you know what they do now with the stars and such up. Go. We're doing the interview. Go. Okay, hold it. No, I said hold it, not have. See, that's the other thing about mothering. I said to hold it. He said, "Can I have it?" We were just talking about this essence of holding and having.
That's
So
what I'm
maybe
saying. Here comes
I
the
might need to
universe to give us
reframe this
a
thing.
demonstration.
Let's let's reframe this thing of holding and having.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So yeah, prime example, right?
Right.
That sometimes we're given things to hold, and you may have it in that moment, but it is not
Mm.
for you to keep. That is the essence of a
Mm.
woman.
Mm. Mm.
That it is
Sometimes we're
not put
given something to hold, and we may have it in the moment, but it's not for us to keep.
not
Mm.
always for us to keep. You can keep
That.
the memory of it, and even the memory of it is a fantastic thing. But
Mm.
something that's meant to move, this essence that's meant to move, and we all have this essence, and I think that's the thing when it comes down to this essence of mothering and this essence of the feminine aspect and feminine principle. And too often we equate feminine and woman, right? We're talking about principles here
Mm.
in this essence that, and that is the ultimate marriage, right? This coming
Mm.
together of masculine and feminine principle in this way.
Mm.
So right, we know that just even in a marriage ceremony, what we're seeing is really an outer expression, right, of an inner experience. This is really just for us to at least put some eyes on something when it comes
Mm,
down to bringing these principles together in this way. And the wonder of woman in this, going to now this essence of woman, this particular, whether it's shape, whether it's size, whether it's, whatever the container is in this way,
mm,
is something that is like, oh, how do we nurture the essence of being a good receiver? And that's tough for many of us because we are not great receivers.
mm,
That's
mm,
something we got to learn. And this is what Mother in this way teaches us, this essence of good receivership,
mm,
in the best way. And that, of course, we talk about that often as a gardener, as a
mm,
farmer in this way,
mm,
and what that means for Onile, what that means for the earth in this way, right? To all the one who always bears witness, right? It's the earth that always bears witness, right? The earth always, it's always eyes. She always receives, and then on top of even in the thing that she receives, when it is subpar, when it is intentionally off,
mm.
she still gives.
She's still good,
She
and she still
still,
transform it.
yes,
She still elevates it. She still take it to another level. She
yes,
duplicates it.
into what is the best thing, which
Hmm.
which is an amazing, amazing, amazing piece. So when we're thinking about this aspect of mothering and motherhood in this way, it really is, this thing of consistent transformation, this thing of consistent transition, this thing of consistent spinning and turning. It's the tornado of it all, right? It's the quick spin. It's the change that come to support us. It support us even when we do not believe that we are being supported. It's the secret hand of the mother that comes to stir up the pot and then tap the spoons, because sometimes you got to tap the spoon at the edge of the pot to make
Hmm.
sure to make sure that everything is right and everything is off, before you start doing something again. So that's the original sound bowl, right? People talk about this all the time, but and I love seeing this essence of, especially this emergence of, we were talking about this black magic and everything else, and these new and new old modalities that people are, you know uh what would be the word, coming into in this way. So the sound bowls and everything else, and it's like, man, but the original sound bowl is mama cooking this pot and stirring this pot in this way, right? And tapping this bowl. Just that in and of itself, just the tap in and of itself is a powerful piece. Whether it's the tap on the pot, whether it's the tap on the shoulder, mama, 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 this particular part, whether it's a tap on the earth to rouse up this ancestral energy that has to come forward, right? And that comes up again to support us in this way. It's the same, it's the same essence of food and feeding and nurturing and support that mamas can't help to give, which is an honor in and of itself, even for people who don't get along with their mamas.
Mm.
You still got to give thanks. But if you're here, and if you have a navel, give thanks for what brought you here.
Hmm.
You
Give
know,
thanks. We're
yeah.
speaking with our sister Sonny Patterson. Happens to be the day that we celebrate Mother's Day. And it's funny for me because, it's truly every day is Mother's Day. You're talking to a big grown mother's boy.
Yeah.
And as I was raised by a woman who definitely is a prototype for, finding a new way outside of the capitalist, materialist,
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Western popular culture, the Western standards of beauty and everything. I remember saying that to her, one year as a teenager, and she said, "Yeah, but it's something special about Mother's Day, though." And this is my revolutionary mama,
Mm-hmm. It's the
you know
truth.
what I mean?
Yes.
And that always stuck with me. That was very, very much what I needed at that moment. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have been more than 13 or 14,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I posted some pictures of her today, just reflecting on her. We here in Atlanta now, where it's called the Black Mecca, but she didn't get run out of town, but she had to. She got whitelisted for being so African. You know,
Yes.
and in the even in the early '80s, it just wasn't something that was popular. And there are many
No.
people like that who share that story. Cultural pioneers. But I'm just saying all that to say, even with all that, the mother, the divine essence and the beauty of motherhood transcends all of them things. It's like all nations bow.
Yes. Yes. Because
And there's go ahead.
not when you, I mean, even hearing that all nations bow, it's quite often we think of kings, right? But we know that
Hmm.
going back to the essence that mother makes a king and the mother crowns the king. If it is not for the
It's the
crowning,
mother that crowned the king.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's a
It's the
blessing.
mother that crowned the king. Real talk.
Yes, indeed.
You said something. Many things you said, but you said something about ancestral energy that must come forward. That's a very profound statement. I want you to elaborate on that because that could go over many heads, and it could be so. There's so many things in our world that we just said become cliche. Not because
Yeah.
they really are cliche, but in the minds of the people, they just seem okay. Yeah, I heard that many times. What
Yeah.
you mean by that?
So, I'm big on honoring ancestors past, present, and future. Now, some people hear future, but I future and I think someone said one time, or they put in this, it was a big thing. No, you're talking about descendants. I said, I understand what you're thinking, but I'm talking
Mm,
about the ancestors of the future. And certainly
mm,
that is all of us, right? So, how
mm,
do we look at this essence again of past, present, and future, past, present, and future in this way? Of course, honoring those that have come before, that's already transitioned, right?
mm,
Then we have these future ones, these little babies that's moving here and there that will certainly become our future ancestors, right, in this way. But then it's also this aspect of the present, our present ancestors, but that's also being returned ones. How do we honor one another in this way? How do we honor, how
mm,
do we truly look one another in the eyes and say, what a magnificent blessing and say, man, you shining like the sun, and say that, I'm
mm,
saluting your genes. I bow to, the essence of who you are. And I bow to the essence of the womb that bore you in this way, right? So, when it comes down to this kind of ancestral energy, this kind of remembrance, and when I'm saying remembrance, right, I'm saying this in the truest sense of the word. What are the things that we need? What are the things? What are the beliefs? What do we need to release? All of these kind of things that allow us to remember, to put ourselves back together again. What blueprint
back
do we
together.
need to bring
That's it.
forward, right, in this way? So, this is a heavy piece, because you may have some people who are really like, that's a way of the past, whatever that way is, until they get a whiff of their grandmother's perfume, until they get a whiff of food, and then say, oh, that reminds me of, right? So it's what is it that's going to, it's the thing that brings us to, a greater essence again of ourselves, I think, in the best way. I know for myself, you remember they used to have those bracelets, what was it, WWJD, what would what would Jesus do? At this
Yeah,
point
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
what would your Agun do? What would your
Right,
ancestors do?
right.
With especially with what's happening in the world. I know what's happening in New Orleans, what's happening in Atlanta. We talking about Cop City and all these kind of things. We talking about all these other major events that's happening. You still have, racist politicians and so forth and so on. You still have, the disease of capitalism. People would, when COVID was uh, extremely prevalent. I'm not saying that, these things don't exist, I guess now, but I
Mm-hmm.
am saying that when we were at the height of these particular times, right? And they would say, what? Well, these things kind of exasperate when you already have an underlying condition. Well, the thing is, we know that America has always had an underlying condition, and that is the condition,
Oh,
right? That's the
serious.
true public health. Uh, uh, that's the true epidemic. We're talking about racism. We're talking about sexism. We're talking about ages. Every ism that can come as a result of keeping on this garment of capitalism and
Yes.
what that looks like. So when we're talking about this essence of our ancestors and the essence of our ancestors who did what? Who looked at the sky, looked at the stars and said, "Oh, now it's time for us to strike." So, we had to bring in every element to aid in what it is that we have accomplished. Every element to aid in bringing new dreams, new visions, new insights, new thoughts. Every element, from the ground to the sky, and then identifying those things within ourselves, and that's the hard part. So we hear about this thing of history, and I think that's the other part. We think about ancestors as history, like something that existed,
Right. 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 Right.
right? And
Right.
what
Antiquity.
yes, and what
Mm-hmm.
we're saying is that, right, we know that, say, in Yoruba thought and tradition, in that way, Egun, we're talking about bone. And if we
Mm-hmm.
are here living, walking, breathing, then we got bone to support and carry us. So that means
Mm-hmm.
that I too am a walking ancestor. So we're back to the present thing of ancestry, right? In this way. So it really is about how we look at, yes, history, and we can say, we like to say our story and these kind of things. Then we like to
Mm-hmm.
say her story or her story, but then we don't always like to bring in that aspect
Mm-hmm.
of the mystery, which I would consider to be my story. So this is the true essence, right? This is the true. This is the sacred. This is truly the sacred secret when we're talking about what really is a mystery. We're thinking it's a question, and I'm saying that it is. Yes, it may be a question, as in, what is my story to bring forward? What is my narrative, right? How am I going to spin this narrative? What does that mean? What does that look like for how I exist in the world? How do I bring words together? I think, even as I think about words, I'm thinking about, right? Remember the book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed, right? And Pedagogy of the
Mm-hmm.
Oppressed, what does he say? One word is composed of two parts, and that's reflection and action,
Mm-hmm.
right? That if one part is sacrificed,
Mm-hmm.
then the other part suffers as well. So the thing is, this is us coming into the world as a word and not lacking in anything. So that means that I'm
That's it.
bringing, this essence of my ancestors forward wherever I go. So people like talking about the, pronouns now, of course, because that's a thing that we have to do in these circles and everything now. I am such and such. My pronouns are, you know. And at what point it would be a thing of, well, no, I'm, a they, right? And then it had to hit me one day. I was
Right.
like, you know what? Especially in a place like New Orleans. And I know how it is, like in the Caribbean and places like that as well. We use they
Right.
for so much. Even when we're talking about ourselves, and it's always a they. Thank God,
Right.
say in New Orleans. And it
Right.
didn't hit me until somebody from Chicago, I want to say. Yes, my roommate, my dear sister, Nikki from Chicago. She said, "Why, when you are talking about yourself or us or what's happening in this house, you say they?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." She said, "For instance, you said they got salt in the cabinet. I didn't see nothing wrong with this, right?"
Right. 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 Right.
I'm like, "Right." She said, "No. Why is it not? Do we have salt
Right.
in the
Right.
cabinet, right?" But then, so I'm using that, but I'm kind of, I want to bring this into this thing when we were talking about this aspect of pronoun and everything as well. I'm like, oh, I like the they. So I like the they because what it also, kind of show. I like the they and the we, right? Because what it shows is
Okay.
that I'm not coming by myself. There's a legion of ancestors
Right.
that you might not see
It's the
that's
lead.
moving and walking with
Yeah.
me, but you're gonna feel them
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
as we are moving through. So
Yes.
it's that kind of piece. When we're talking about this ancestral piece that is really
That's
what
the part
moves
I
us.
say I and I.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because it's not just we kind of reject the thing of me and you
Yes.
as as
Look,
a
unless
as
it comes from the
an
outside.
indication of separation. It's an
Yes.
indication of separation.
And that's the
And I know
illusion.
that the
Oh no.
English purists can get could get that twisted. However, that's why I love to talk like yourself, because you're
Uh-oh.
a fluid gift of traversing the worlds. I think that's
Mm,
why I say, call him call you what he call you, because it's a special kind of gift. I know that my brother Minister Server, our brother, say a lot.
yes.
Martin Luther King, he called him the world's greatest MC, because Dr.
Yes.
King has this gift of taking a very cosmic principle and bringing it
Mm-hmm.
right down to Simpson Road in Atlanta
It's the truth.
and
It's the
making it
truth.
very digestible. And
And
again, that's
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, uh, no, I'm agreeing with you, and I'm bringing that even back to this essence of a mother with food. So it's much of the same, right? Martin Luther King to take these lofty ideas and bring them here on the ground. And I think about, and like you said, to make it easily digestible. And I think about that with a mother or a parent, in this way, a nurturer in this way, right? How you would take something and you chew it up and you give it to your baby,
Yes.
so that they can eat it, so that they can, so that they're not choking, so that it's easily digestible to them. So it's the same principle, and I think that's what we, when it comes down to this essence of mothering and comes down to this essence of nurturing and this essence of care, that we look at every example of where the mother resides, where the principle of mother
Yeah.
resides. Um, yeah, and I that's
Yeah.
that's
Thing.
that's a powerful piece.
And when you it's physics that the mother represents. There's another. A child's mouth is not scalded by milk from his mother's hand. Now, this is something.
Oh, yikes. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
There
There
you
he is.
go.
There we
Yeah,
go.
we got some little. But I'm just saying, that whole proverb: a child's mouth is not scalded by hot milk from mother's
Oh, I'm frozen again.
comes through mother, because it comes through mother. It has this grace that comes with it. It
Yeah,
has this digestibility, as you say, that comes with it. So let's get
yeah.
a little bit more biographical for a minute, for lack of a better word. I want to ask you, as the sister we're talking to right now, and the great oh, and
Oh,
what were some of your first, what are some of your first memories of motherhood, of motherhood, in terms of
now, Falaja, you breaking up a little, but you said first memories. I think I heard that, and I'm frozen again. There we go. I think I see you moving. I see you moving. So you're not okay. You're not frozen now. No. Yes. No. There you are. This.
we're having some connectivity
Yeah.
dances going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We're definitely connected
Yes.
and connecting. Okay, there you go.
Uh huh. We
Did
said
you hear my
first memory.
question?
I think it was
Yes.
first memories, right?
Yeah.
First, the first thing, what is something? The first thing that comes to mind uh, is a couple things that come to mind. I'm putting these up because for some reason the first thing that comes to mind when um, walking, me and my mom, I'm remembering I wouldn't always hold her whole hand,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I always held these two fingers,
Mm.
um, and it could be because my hand was too small to
Mm.
hold a whole hand. But I'm
Mm.
remembering walking up Canal Street, things like this. We would have to, move around and go to different stores. But these particular fingers, I'm remembering just small things like this, and then and then here come the sad part. This is where my children will say something too. When I'm remembering, a spit getting mama spit. I don't know what's in a mama spit that gets everything off from anywhere. But I'm remembering, remember that's like what they said. Listen, Home Depot, goo be gone or something. You use it for paint. It's
Yeah.
like that's mama spit. Got to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Mama's a prototype for all of that. All of
Listen,
them new commercial
oh
attachments.
my goodness. So those are things that's that's coming up first. Then my grandmother's coming up. My grandma, the house that I live in, right, was my great grandmother's house. My grandfather grew up here. Then my mother and everybody, and uncles, and his wife, everybody, they lived in this house. So this house is one of, it's a nurturing kind of house. It still has that there we go. It still has that same energy in it. So it's different things that pop up. It's so many thoughts that pop up. Different food, being fussed at, being yelled at. I used to fight a lot as a little girl, so being put out of schools and all these kind of things. Mama was never the one I wanted to come to the school when I got into a fight or something like
Oh
this.
my God.
Never ever. My daddy, yes, please, daddy, come. Don't do not send that woman. Not send her. No. My daddy gonna be on my side. My mama, no.
She on
No.
the side of justice, right?
Ooh, not my mama.
Yeah, my mama had. I obviously used to say, my mama had one of them red lines. You know them lines you pick up, and she ain't got to dial the number.
Right, right, right.
She stayed on me like white on rice. This is with the teachers in my life, you know.
Mm, no,
I
it's,
mean, just
yeah,
automatic. Just
yeah, yes. It's a direct. People talk about what the song say. Jesus on the main line. No,
right.
yeah,
That's mama.
that's mama. Straight up, straight up.
That's
Direct
mama.
direct connection. That's what the umbilical cord is about.
True.
you know, that's the
True.
true, that's the true telephone cord, the true main line. So we're
True.
thinking about that essence. That's a very real thing. That connection. Going back to, I think that's been a theme because I'm hearing myself, and I'm hearing myself saying this word essence so much, and both, I guess, intentionally and unintentionally. But I'm hearing my speech, and I'm hearing the amount of times we have said essence. But I guess we can't get around that when I think about, again, this thing of mother and mothering and nurturing, and going back to that existence, and going those words that pop up: calabash, existence, even in the traditional sense, odu, the traditional sense of womb, and what that means to have roles, what that means to be wrapped in in the beauty and light and protection of a mother's prayer. That's the thing. And we know that right now we are still surviving off of, whether they these mamas could be long gone, but we know that the
Yeah.
essence of their prayer is what is still carrying and still wrapped. This is what's wrapped our feet. This is what has wrapped our legs. This is
And
the
that's up.
blessing of the head, in this way, that that is the pouring of water. My mama's prayer. My mama, one thing my mama would say, we grew up very Catholic in New Orleans. And
Mm-hmm.
so with that, it's candles. We lighting candles all day. So that was my mama.
Mm-hmm.
Anything could be happening. You got to pass a test, light a candle, say a prayer. You got a headache, light a candle, say a prayer. You got to, whatever it is, whatever the problem is, whatever the celebration is, whatever the thing is, light a candle and say a prayer. And so, of course, being who and how we are now, we know, again, going back to that word, the essence of what this means. What does it mean to pour your words like water? What does it mean to illumine the path in this way that this candle represents? That this candle represents the illumination of your prayer. This candle represents the light that you are. This candle represents this aspect of flame, and just everything that comes forward from this kind of fire, this transformative element, and everything in this way, and that your words too are just that. I'm remembering so many things, so many reminders, because that's one thing with being a young writer and everything, and a speaker. I was a youth spokesperson for a lot of organizations growing up when I was younger. One was called, oh, I lost you again. Oh, maybe you'll come back. Come back, come back.
You say you were
There,
a youth spokesperson for a lot of organizations, then it went out.
then it went out. Uh, One I'm remembering was called ACT, All Congregations Together. So it's
Mm.
all of these churches all throughout the city and beyond. I mean, meetings would be like truly up to like over 1,000 people and things like this. Um, at just a meeting would be the thing to deal with community policing, all of these kind of things. So even when again, these are the things that I have to give thanks for when it comes down to the things that my mother put me in, the things that the mothers who reared me in this way. When we're talking about my community mamas and everybody else, and I'm very much a community child. So I
Mm-hmm.
still right now that'll be sitting on this porch are community mamas and babas that really have supported me in this way, right? But I think about this,
Yeah.
and I think about you know when it would come time, and she would say, no, 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 before you say anything, um, you you make sure that you say, my tongue is the pen of a ready writer. So from
Mm. Mm.
so
One of my
I,
favorite songs.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I would, and so still to this day, that is a part of my prayer before I do anything. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer.
That's
So
so funny because there's a few times I've had the opportunity to introduce you, even maybe on forums like this. And I find myself always saying that about you, but we never had that conversation where that was something that, you know,
mm,
I was aware that you were, that was a mantra of yours from young.
yeah, yeah,
Because that you carry that with you, you carry
yeah,
that with you for real.
yeah. And I can say that's the result of my mother and my father and just all of the communities work in that way. Who,
Hmm.
yeah, they don't let you they don't let you sleep about it. You
Right,
understand? So they
right.
don't, they're not gonna let you rest about it. They're gonna tell you, oh, that's what you're gonna say. You think that's what you're gonna say. You think
Right,
you think you're gonna keep this kind of conversation up while we are here? Yeah, no. Yeah.
right.
So I give thanks for that. Right now, as a matter of fact, one of the elder who from nursery, her
Hmm.
name was Anna, Miss Anna P. Miss
Hmm.
Anna P. I'll go to their uh uh what do you call it, like assistant living
Yeah.
facility and all these kind of things. So she, again, from nursery, 3 years old, and now decades later, she's still here and still, supporting me in that way. And back then you thought I thought she was old in. So, you know, back then it was like, dang, and she's about 100 years old, but so now she like 300, you know what I mean? But that's the essence of these mamas. That's the essence of these shoulders, where it's like these is ancient shoulders, you understand?
Ancient shoulders.
Yeah. So
Ancient
one of
shoulders.
our mamas here, Mama Denise, that's a phrase that she says. She says, nah, she says, we have to be shoulder ready. She would,
Mm.
she says, and to go into what that even means to be shoulder ready. She said, because, when we know that there are people and they're youth that have to stand on these shoulders, then we need to start practicing that right now, becoming shoulder ready, so that when it's time for them to stand, when it's time for them to do what it is that they need to do, then we're strong enough, we are girded up enough to be able to carry them, in the best way. So, I think that's so much of these messages when it comes down to these mamas who helped and continue to help me here to use her term in that way, to be shoulder ready. And then when we look even in other aspects, and what does that mean for this aspect of the heart? What does that mean for this aspect of the spirit? What does that mean to have insight? What does that mean to have foresight? What does that mean so that our foresight can be 2020 and not just our hindsight, so that
Hmm.
we don't always have to learn from these hindsight lessons, that we can have lessons that really do bring us forward. So, and again, that's mother's wit, that's mother's intuition. And people hear that quite often and only think that, oh, uh, that's for just that, a woman. But again, we're going back to this
Right.
aspect of principle, going back to what is in,
Yeah.
right? And knowing what it is that we came from in this way. That means that, yeah, there's another kind of fostering that has to happen here when we're talking
Hmm.
about this instinctual kind of thought, this innate kind of wisdom that is there, within us, and moves in that way. So yeah, I'm giving thanks every day, man. I'm
Yeah.
not just every day, every moment. It's every moment, because
Yeah.
every moment is a new moment. And somebody
Yeah.
asked that, well, yeah,
Perpetual praise and gratitude.
that's it.
Yeah.
You know, somebody asked, like, well, how long uh is they said, how long is like a lifetime or something in that way. I'm like, man, that's something real deep, because say the lifespan of an ant certainly is not the same as that of an elephant. you know so it's
Hmm.
this is
Hmm.
that's a big thing. We think about our ancestors, we think about, I'm going to uh the ancestor festival that I do here in the city. um and I think about this essence again of ancestor, and you talk about the lifespan of working on a levee, you talk about the lifespan of working in a sugarcane field, you talk about and that's what, 5 years.
Hmm.
So now you have, these things
Five
have
years. But let's just
it's
let that sink in for a minute, though.
yeah,
You just said something that just is so profound and also so horrific when I think about it.
yeah,
I just don't want that to skip over, even as we reflecting on motherhood. Imagine being in a station, forced into a station
mm,
in life where your lifespan is 5 years,
5 years,
based on the cruelty, based on the degradation of that environment,
mm,
not based on your another, or just based on
yeah,
It's like when we talk about motherhood, you answer questions, you answer them. It's always when you
man,
say you we're just uh, meaning when we talking about motherhood and feminine essence, we're not just talking about a woman. And what
yeah,
questions to you is, like how there's practical to
oh, oh, I don't know if the audience can hear me or see me. I'm gonna apologize for our brother's technological station over there. Hmm. And let's see if he comes back in 5, 4. There we go.
I love it when this happens.
Yeah.
I mean, we doing something powerful today. Well, yeah. I mean, and so I'm grateful that it's that the asking those questions. We have so much that people are so overwhelmed by, and still I know that even the name of one of the organizations part
Uh-oh.
of
I don't know, Baba. Nope. Mm-mm.
yeah. But
There you are.
when people are feeling overwhelmed, what are they told to be? Breathe. Even in the uh, even in
Mm-mm.
the midst of we are in this world, it's very simple that no take away. Dr. King again is a sermon called "The Three Dimensions of a Complete Life." And
Uh-huh.
in a nutshell, let me see if I can move, because in a nutshell, he was just saying that he was talking about John, and he said I've been. He was talking about a man who was in prison named John in an island called Patmos, and he went. Uh, Dr. King be laying it down. You feel like you
Mm.
right there with all the saints. And he said, and the thing about liberty is taken away from you except for the freedom to reflect and to meditate.
Mm.
So I'm saying, in the midst of all that, as you were sharing with us about the mother principle, I just keep thinking about the breath. I just keep thinking about something that can never be taken away from us, regardless of all the cop cities and all of
Yes.
them that frame mischief by law, all the different schemes of these men and people in the
Yes.
world. So
Yes.
I'm really appreciating how you're sharing in a very practical way what this is, and I want to ask you to continue to share with us for these few minutes we got left along those lines, in terms of that principle, of that mother principle that we can all tap into in very practical ways,
Yeah.
truly shift, to really empower us.
Yeah. So I want to go. You were still kind of breaking up a bit, but just to even go back to what you, oh, gone again. I never know if you all, I'm talking to, the audience. I don't know if we're still, we are still here together. Um, I don't know. Yeah. How it goes, brother.
Sometimes they're just trying to fight it. This is not a push.
Mm-mm.
Ogunye. Oh yeah.
Oh, going yeah.
So
On,
you
no
were
going yeah.
saying, Mama?
I was kind
Yeah.
of bringing it back. What you were saying, this essence of breath, going back to that um as well, right? Breath and remembrance and what that is and means, right? And how to tap into it, how to honor it, how to take a moment to intentionally do it. And I'm one of these people that's extremely practical when it comes to, okay, yes, let's sit in meditation and prayer and these kind of things. And I'm a firm believer in um minutes and moments, right? Not just some people go, well, you have to sit for an hour, you have to do this for X amount of days. It's like, you know, to be honest, the reality is that sometimes this just got to be a walk in meditation. This just has to be, how do I move through intentionally? Even I'm a firm believer too, in an intentional 2 minutes carries more weight than an unintentional 2 hours. So it really is us taking the time um, to really just say thank you, taking the time to open ourselves up to be able to receive the essence and guidance of the mother in this way. There's a creed. It's called the fear mongers creed, and it said one a line of it. It said, "Give them fear for free, and let them pay for the resolution." So when we hear things like this, you know what I mean? We hear things about fear. We hear things about and how fear is free, but really we know that it is extremely costly. We know that it is something that is extremely expensive for us to not do all that we can to at least move in this essence of confidence, in this essence of true and right and real hope and love, and what that means in this true essence of self. And even when I say self-care, and that's one of those words that people kind of, we throw that thing around so often, but it really is, how do I care for myself, and care in the largest, and I'm saying in the biggest sense, because we're talking also about this thing of love. And when you love something, you care for something. So if I'm saying that I love myself, what really does that mean? And those are that's like one thing that when we're talking about this, going back to this thing of mother, if we can go back to just the love that comes forward in giving birth, even though birth is, look, and we already know that's a hard kind of thing. It's not, we can say we have easy births. I know as a mother who had, three children of my body, um, and two were born home. One was in a hospital, and that was really by choice because we had too much construction going on in the house. So I was like, yeah, we might have a little too much dirt and dust. Look, we might have too much dust around here for this one to come in the house. But I'm saying that in the sense that there's such a divine kind of active and activated love that comes with giving birth to a thing, whether that is a child or a creative idea. um it's just really for us to be able to be in the space. We're going back to that word that we should said before, this space of receivership, and that is, tapping into that. And if we can tap into that with the essence of simple breaths, and it can be simple breaths as long as it's intentional. It could just be, okay, an inhale and an exhale, but I'm so intentional about how this oxygen is moving through and flowing through, how it is. Technically, my breath is my water for my insides. So if I look at myself as plant in this way, if I look at myself as seed in this way, if I look at myself as root in this way, if I look at myself as ancestor in this way, then everything needs water. So my breath in this way, this internalizing washing, this internal washing that takes place from my intentional breath, is a powerful piece. And it allows me, it gives me the space to honor where I came from. If I can honor where I came from, aside from every other thing that may be attached to it, if I can just honor where I came from, I can recognize that my blessings reside not just there, but wherever I am. Because wherever I am, right, there I am. So that's the essence again of the mother. That's the essence of the this nurturing piece that allows us to soften, to be able to receive.
Indeed. We're talking to our sister, Sonny Patterson. We have a couple more minutes with our sister. Of course, for those of y'all around the ATL, you always want to be at the Malcolm X Fest. It's always
Yes,
a family reunion. And this year we got a
true.
special incentive. Our sister on the phone line with us, on the line with us right now. will be headlining the show on Saturday. And
Yeah.
if I it's almost like, as an artist myself, I don't even want to ask you what can we expect. I'm not going to ask you that, as a matter of fact. You know what I mean?
Well, because you know your sister, you know we don't know what we don't know what we
That
can expect.
that part, but not even beyond that, because living in the moment is a beautiful gift. Is
Yes.
a beautiful gift.
Yeah, it is.
And big up to the MXGM, which has over the years established a platform, a real life platform
True indeed.
for not just artists. Artists are part of the thing, but for community to come together.
True.
Liberated space right there in Malcolm X Park. You
It's
know,
a
I'm
beautiful,
saying,
beautiful time.
yeah, it's a beautiful time. So we're looking forward to seeing you at the Malcolm X Festival, sister, live on stage,
Yes, indeed.
doing your thing. I remember that's one of the first times I actually met you. I would say in this realm. We got to qualify them things because we know reality. But
Mm-hmm.
in this dispensation, in this time, I remember I got a picture that floats around sometimes in my social media memory with you and our brother Sekou Alaje.
Yes.
That was one of the years
Oh wow. For that.
I
Yes.
met you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was at that time I was living in Philadelphia and commuting, um, for the festival every year. To come
Mm.
to come do our thing. So we're looking forward to.
Oh,
So I'm
absolutely.
not going to ask you what to expect from you on stage. However, as Dr. Clark said, let's bring a conclusion to a thing that has no conclusion.
Yeah. Okay.
so you can so you can go on and get loved on by your family today, you know, in a
Man,
way that you truly deserve and all that.
that's an honor. An
I
honor.
want to act it in another way, just in terms of some of the things that some of the family who may not be able to join us in the flesh,
Yes.
because they're in other parts of the world, can possibly reflect on
Mm-hmm.
where we can touch and agree together. We can use these times. I'm a huge advocate as you talk about practical spirituality. I
Mm-hmm.
often think about when we're gathered.
Yes.
When we're gathered in these numbers, or when
Mm-hmm.
we have all of our attentions on one thing,
Yes.
what the potential is.
Woo, woo.
What the potential is.
That
That's
makes
all I gotta say.
right there.
Right.
That's a
So what
power.
what 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 would be some of the things that as you travel the world, literally on airplanes and also emotionally, spiritually within your realms,
Yeah.
within the heavenly realm, what would you call our attention to? A few things that we can address as a
Yeah.
collective within our hearts, within our meditation, even as we renew our communion with the mother energy.
Yeah. 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 Man, one of the first things that comes to mind, I'm just big on an expanded community and looking
Hmm.
at community in the sense of, yes, we have community as far as the unity. Yeah, we get that, we know that. But then there's this other part of it. I had to look at this word several ways, right? So one etymological kind of aspect that came was the co, yes, together. But then there's this other part of munity. So I had to look at where else I saw this word munity. And I was like,
Mm,
okay, immunity, right? Ammunition, even. And
mm,
all of these too are forms of protection. So it's also this thing of how do we come together as a community? I don't want to say how, because that could be something and we can get caught up on process here. But
mm-hmm,
coming together in this way to truly create safe spaces. That's another thing that we hear quite often, which is,
mm,
in the you got to whisper that in the retreat sense. Oh, this is a safe space. This kind of thing. But I'm saying truly, how do we? Because that's one essence of back to that word essence of just the organism in and of itself to feel protected, and what
mm-hmm,
that means for each and every one of us to come into the presence of another and feel safe and feel protected, and what that means. not just because you emit it, but because I'm emitting it from within myself. And I know that from this particular space, this internal aspect of who I am, back again to this thing of true receivership in this way, softening up to this essence of receivership and softening up so that I can roll off these layers of colonization. I can roll off these layers of capitalism. I can roll off these layers of ego so that when I'm standing before or standing in the midst of my brother and my sister, I can be my full self. I can be my true self. I can be my God self. I can tap into who I am and who you are, and I know that that is a thing of oneness. So I think for me it is how we create this aspect of the business that we've been talking about, this thing of the story of the self, this thing that allows us to shift the narrative from one where we, we again we speak about this all the time, this thing of separation in this way, and separation being the illusion,
Yeah.
and believing in the illusion and how that has gotten us to nowhere.
Hmm.
There's a high.
Absolutely nowhere.
Absolutely nowhere. There's a bridge in Baltimore, just made me think about it, and they call it the highway to nowhere. So I don't want us to be on the highway to nowhere, but we can be on the highway, literally the highway to heaven. So, that aspect of highway to heaven is transforming these aspects of, this aspect of mind so that we're able to really tap into this one mind essence, tap into this one body essence, tap into this one heart essence, and everything that means. That brings us back again to this ancestral piece, one aim, one God, one destiny in this way. If we know that we can get there together, then let's get there together.
I see. I see. I just thought I just let chuckle to myself because I'm hearing my brother Iras in the back in my ears as he often is. Iras born a day before my mother. They birthdayed
Uh-huh.
around the same way. Queen
Uh,
Yen, all of them born around the same time then.
uh-huh.
And so I gotta ask you to share a little verse. Like Marley Marl said, just kick a little something for them cars that be bumping. Kick a little- touch-
Uh,
give us
that's
give us a little lyrical libation as we seal up.
the first poem that comes to mind. Um, they wanted her. Um, they wanted her piecemealed, paper mached, practically broken, limp-like, loveless, a litany of exaggeration. They wanted her low. They wanted her high, filled with all of their empty. They wanted to be more like them, not knowing her conception was immaculate, that she was birthed in sandalwood, scented river water, sweet sapphire, honey touched tongue, like she was too much of a mouthful for the greedy. Just a small amount of her was more than they could stand, or they wanted her bland and barren. Unspirited, un-African, uncultured, under siege in the streets. They wanted her face down, ass up, hands cuffed and ankles strapped. They wanted her knowing that she could never want them back. Or they wanted her holy, baptized in her divine. They wanted her secrets, pearls to swine. They wanted to unravel the mystery of her design, fascinated by glory, hypnotized by her kind. Or they wanted her complete. They wanted her whole, though they came fractioned, half hearted, half soul, with no regards and no knowledge as to who she really was. Oh, but if they knew praise songs would rain from the clouds of their eyes, clearing the vision, bathing the heart. They would bow every time they saw her, be their best selves when she was around. If they knew her, knew she was the glue to their revolution, the life flow of blood through their veins. If they knew her, then she would.
Mm, sure. That's our sister Sonny. Can I say your whole name?
Gone saying.
Don't say it. I'm
Yes,
gonna
you can.
keep it to myself.
You, you, you know,
You
you could always say my name. It's all, it's all good.
Sonny Kamisha
Uh-huh.
Mary Ann
Yes,
Patterson,
that's it.
mother of Jesus and the mother of John.
There we go.
Here she go in the living flesh. Sister, we love you tremendously.
Yes,
We give
indeed.
thanks. We give thanks for you. The day your mama brought you forth.
I,
So please give your mama a happy Mother's Day greetings for us as well.
I will. I will. I will.
We're looking forward to seeing you in Atlanta
Yes.
on Saturday.
Gonna be a good time.
ahead of the birthday of El Haj Malik Shabazz, someone who gave so much,
So much. And
gave
someone
so much.
learning from. Absolutely.
I see. It's a real thing. So thank you for joining us today on the
Indeed.
Ancestral Rock. Give our love to the family and safe travels to Atlanta and to and fro and all of them things that we say over land and sea.
That's right. That's right. Ashe. We give thanks for
Yes,
you, brother.
sir.
Can't wait to see
I sure.
you. Ashe. Ashe. A double family.
Hold up.